Do you like NASCAR? Do you like a tribe called Quest? Well, you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like manwich and nachos? Well, then you love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like guns? Do you like butter? Well, you're gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Yo, what's good, son? You like Pitbull, say? You like solving Sudoku puzzles? Then you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Hey, buddy, if your car making a sound like this, you might want to get you some power steering fluid and check out the Urban Conservative podcast.
Are you repulsed by the idea of drag queen story time at your local library, but enjoy Carol Baskin TikTok memes? Then you would enjoy the Urban Conservative. Do you want to slap your boss and then go home and make yourself some golden brown pancakes covered in butter and freshly made warm boysenberry syrup? Then you'll love the Urban Conservative.
If you're a little over Cardi B and you're repulsed by the thought of Hogmaw, check out the Urban Conservative. You ready? If you think the earth is flat and always on that weird side of YouTube, check out the Urban Conservative. They'll set you straight.
If you're in a chasing dopey and you love solid fish and festival, check out the Urban Conservative.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone is well. You tuned in the top of the morning, the best 30-minute morning show right here on the Urban Conservative. I know we've been gone for a minute, as Ali is on the campaign trail, and I'm coming off of a week of festivities. Shouts out to the Harris family. We've just been extremely busy. Haven't been able to get to the show, but we haven't forgot about y'all. We are here. We will be more consistent coming up over the next few weeks as we get more grounded. Shouts out to my twin brother, Dual Ali. Make sure you head over to Ali for Congress. Once again, Ali for Congress to support the campaign to make America better for everyone. As you all know, my brother's running in the 12th House District out in Charlotte, North Carolina. You can head over to Ali for Congress, where you can support the campaign, meet a Dual, see what the issues is that he's standing on. And make sure to vote outside the box. That's what we're asking for. To do more in 24. We're asking for everybody to contribute $24 to the campaign to help us win this this congressional seat in 12 from the incumbent long-term Democrat who has done nothing, literally nothing, for early childhood literacy, upward economic mobility in the district. Just zero. Respectfully, the woman's done zero. Probably a nice enough lady, but with those issues, she's done absolutely nothing. And clearly she's voting in tandem with Biden and his lack of border control. So we want to be a part of fighting against that. So with that said, make sure you head over to aliforcongress.com and learn more. So we're going to get right into the show, folks, because I don't even, sometimes it'd be hard to find a place to start, but let's just start here. So the judge in the Georgia election case has dismissed 6 charges against Trump and others. The charges for soliciting officials to violate their oath of office were dismissed, although other charges remain. So that's not all of the charges dismissed, but 6 of them. Now, the interesting part about this is that the judge overseeing the election interference case and 14 defendants dismissed the charges in an indictment on Wednesday, saying they were not detailed enough. One of the 41 charges Trump and some of the co-defendants in their case were charged with was soliciting officials in Georgia to violate their oath of office. Those charges were dismissed. The other charges in the case with his co-defendants remain. The 6 defendants who had the charge at the issue in the case were Trump, Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, John Eastman, Ray Smith, and Robert Cheeley. In different ways, all 6 men allegedly attempt to get Georgia officials to violate their oath. That was the claim. But the phone call was perfect. You know, they're referring back to the call, the find me the vote call. So you know for me knowing the call, it went perfect. But the judge said on Wednesday that Fonnie Willis, the Fulton County District Attorney, had not given enough detail in charging documents as to what specific language in the oaths of office defendants were pressuring officials to violate. Okay, again, the judge said that the Fulton County Attorney Fonnie Willis had not given enough detail in the charging document as to what specific language in the oath of office defendants were pressuring officials to violate. That's very simple to understand. There is no language in which he said, I want you to do something illegal. He didn't say that. It was none of that said. The August indictment says the defendant sought to get Georgia officials to violate their oaths to the Georgia Constitution and to the United States Constitution, which is hogwash. The judge went on to say that the language was too vague. The United States Constitution contains hundreds of clauses, any one of which can be subject of a lifetime study, he wrote. The Georgia Constitution is not a mere shadow of its federal counterpart, and although some provisions feature similar language, the Georgia Constitution has been interpreted to contain dramatically different meanings. As was written, these 6 counts contain all the essential elements of the crimes, but fail to allege sufficient detail regarding the nature of their commission, i.e. the underlying felony solicited. What did they ask to do that was illegal? What was asked to do that was illegal? You understand? You didn't articulate that part. They do not give the defendants enough information to prepare their defenses intelligently, as the defendants could have violated the constitutions and thus the statute in dozens, if not hundreds, of distinct ways. Jeff DeSantis, a spokesperson for Willis' office, declined to comment on the ruling, but said it was being reviewed. Okay, so it's being seen as a minor hiccup to Fonnie Willis, but she has her own things to worry about right now. The ruling is consistent with Judge McAfee's lifelong approach all along. It's very thorough opinion. And, you know, some people say, oh, well, he's a leftist, he's this, he's that. Well, in this situation, he's stuck to the law. In this one situation, he's stuck to the law. So, you know, we have to give him a shout out for that, at least. You know, he got that done. Now, he's still facing a litany of charges. Trump, that is, and his co-defendants is still facing other charges pending the outcome or decision on the Fonnie Willis investigation, if you will. So we'll keep our eyes on that for you, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to hit the like, follow, subscribe. We're going to keep doing this. Make sure you come back here Monday night, 8 p.m. for the Urban Conservative Podcast. We got a special guest coming next week, so stay tuned for that. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to talk about Biden is in bad shape, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned.
Because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're here rocking out on top of the morning, best 30-minute morning show on the interwebs. So, why did I say Biden's in bad shape? Why are we saying Biden's in bad shape? Well, 2 things. There's 2 things. One, stuff like this. Stuff like this. Why is he in bad shape? Why is he in bad shape? I mean, do you need more evidence? Thurman passed away in 2003 while Biden didn't leave the Senate till 2009. The Voting Rights Act passed in 1965, ladies and gentlemen. 1965. Okay? So when we say this guy's in bad shape, absolutely in bad shape. And the other part to this is, let's just look at this here. I'm gonna keep this on the screen. See the difference? That's the walk of a very, very frail man right there. That's a very, very frail individual. Oh, y'all don't even see it. Oh, y'all don't even see it. Okay. We're going to leave this up here to rock. So why do we say he's in bad shape? And I didn't even, y'all didn't even get to see the other tab. Okay. Let me bring this back. Boom. Let me show y'all this right here. All bad right here. All bad. All bad.
For the Voting Rights Act. Strom Thurmond. When I left the Senate, I was able to convince Strom Thurmond to vote for the Voting Rights Act. Strom Thurmond. When I left the Senate, I was able to...
That when he left the Senate, now the facts are Thurmond passed away in 2003. Biden didn't leave the Senate till 2009, and the Voting Rights Act passed in 1965. So this guy is just in terrible, terrible shape. Not only just from obviously from a mental acuity perspective, but politically he's in bad shape because he's losing ground, he's losing coalitions, he's losing voters, and to be honest, he should not be in office right now. He just clearly doesn't have the mental or physical capacity to do this. I don't know what they are pumping this guy full of to go up and talk and like, I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is, but let's take a look at this real quick as well, because in this special document case, it is unfair, the treatment that the special counsel received, right? So let's take a look at this.
Finally releasing the highly anticipated transcripts of Biden's interview with special counsel Robert Hur, 5 hours of Biden unscripted. Our producers spent all day reading this, and now we understand what Robert Hur meant when he called Biden painfully slow. The transcripts confirm that Biden didn't remember when his son died, when he was vice president, or when Trump was elected. Biden had to be reminded multiple times throughout his interview what a fax machine was. And whenever he was redirected to focus on the question at hand, he'd launch into wacky stories weirder than corn pop. For instance, when the special counsel asked why he moved classified documents from the Naval Observatory, Biden claimed he'd won an international torts competition in law school and then shared a story of a 23-year-old who was wearing the wrong pants, wrong jeans when a spark caught fire and he lost one of his testicles. Biden called himself a frustrated architect who went to Mongolia where he shot bow and arrows with sumo wrestlers. Biden said he had great aim and put everyone in Mongolia to shame. At one point, Biden asked special counsel Hur if he saw, quote, risque pictures of my wife in a bathing suit, which you probably did. She's beautiful. When asked about his classified documents in the garage, Biden bragged he went on Leno with his Corvette and started making car noises. Quote, all you do, the Justice Department. Finally releasing the highly anticipated transcripts of Biden's interview with special counsel Robert Hur.
All right, so we're going to take this a step further now. We're not going to just rely on that. We're going to pull up the transcript, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the recorded interview on your screen because, you know, the media is the media. So we here like to go right to the source. So the media has said that's what was said, but here's the actual document. And I'll go ahead and put that in the description of this video afterwards. But recorded interview between Robert Hur. All right, here we go. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. Mr. President, it's actually technically good afternoon. Very much for being here. I have some preliminary matters, but before I do, you have anything else you'd like to say before we jump in? Unidentified Minister Speaker, no. President Biden, no. Okay, well, Mr. President, I do want to thank you for being here, making this time for us. He seems cordial enough, right? He seems cordial enough. I know there's a lot of things in the world going on that demand your attention. You may be interrupted by one. Mr. Hur, understood. I hope not. I hope not. Look at these responses. I just got off the phone with, we hope not too. I just got off the phone with Bibi Netanyahu. Oh, yes, sir. I also wanted to say that we know by the significant cooperation with our investigation. I want to personally recognize that and thank you for it. President, the FBI knows my house better than I do. Okay. I'm not sure about that, sir. I'm pretty sure, Mr. Herr. I hope it's been obvious during the months that my goals have been to do a thorough professional job, but also to do it as swiftly as possible. And your cooperation has been very helpful in us trying to achieve all of these goals, especially the efficiency of our investigation. On the topic of cooperation, federal prosecutors, we do assess cooperation at the end of an investigation. Obviously, your willingness, okay. I'm a young man, so it's not a problem. You can't make this up. I'm a young man. It's not a problem. Okay, great. Glad to hear it. A couple of ministerial notes. I'm asking a question that's unclear or badly phrased. I sometimes do that. I often do that. If I ever ask a question you don't quite understand, you need clarification, right? Then you should say, I don't understand what you're saying. You should try to ask me to clarify. All right, now I'll take another crack at it. Okay. And then you should, whenever we take a break today or tomorrow, by the way, there's a rest. Yo, listen. And then you should ever want to take a break. By the way, there's a restroom right behind us. Okay, thank you. For the rest of you as well. Good to know. Thank you. Yo, should you ever want to take a break during the interview and confer with members of the White House Counsel Office? Okay. Rob, yes, okay. So, may we also ask for clarity about the question? I would be surprised if you did not, Bob. I'm confident of that. Okay. Any other preliminaries? Well, Mr. Norm, we start these kind of interviews by asking the witness to tell us a little bit about their background. You probably had your background documented as well or better than any other person on the planet, so we will not be asking you to take us back to Scranton. We will be asking you to take us back to more recently, back to the end of the Obama administration on January of 2017. So if you could cast your mind back to that time, at that point, President Biden, piece of paper, Mr. Bow, of course, yes, here. All right, look at some of these responses. I was going to become a professor at the University of Pennsylvania. I was working at the University of Delaware for Biden School on Domestic Policy. So my objective was to stay engaged in policy, debate, etc. All right, Mr. Herr, understood. So with respect to your professorship at the Penn Biden Center, how much of your time did you anticipate spending on that post-vice presidency? All of it? Yeah, I meant it was a job. How much time do you expect to know in your... I'm not being facetious. I mean, I wanted to have recognition and other things. I don't mean that. Yo, y'all cannot... This is not good. The transcript is available for you guys to read. So when you see the video of Adam Schiff trying to what we're going to play here, Adam Schiff trying to... Which I don't like Adam Schiff. I just, just a despicable specimen of a human being. It's absolutely despicable. When you see Adam Schiff trying to badger the special counsel, you understand who he's working for, right? You understand that he's a Biden operative, if you will.
I want to ask you about some of the differences between the facts involving President Biden and President Trump. But before I do, I want to refer back to your opening statement in which you said that you did not disparage the president in your report. But of course, you did disparage the president. You disparaged him in terms you had to know would have a maximal political impact. You understood your report would be public, right?
I understood, based on comments that the Attorney General had made, that he had committed to make as much of my report public as consistent with legal policy and legal requirements.
And you could have chosen just to comment on the president's particular recall vis-a-vis a document or a set of documents, but you decided to go further and make a generalized statement about his memory, didn't you?
Congressman, I could have written my report theoretically in a way that omitted references to the president's memory, but that would have been an incomplete and improper report, and that it did not reflect my analysis.
You could have
the explanation of my decision.
You could have written it the way I think you should have written it, and not made our Democratic president look like a total memoryless goofball. You could have done that, right, sir? You could have done that.
With comments about his specific recollection as to documents or a set of documents, but you chose a general pejorative reference to the president. You understood when you made that decision, didn't you, Mr. Herr, that you would ignite a political firestorm with that language, didn't you?
Congressman, Politics played no part whatsoever in my investigative steps.
But you understood never.
This guy's such a weasel. This guy's such a weasel. Such a weasel. Shifty. Such a weasel. Such a weasel. So I'm going to let this play because he just goes to badger this guy.
Nonetheless, didn't you, Mr. Hurt, you cannot tell me you're so naive as to think your words would not have created a political firestorm. You understood that, didn't you, when you wrote those words, when you decided to include those words, when you decided to go beyond specific references to documents? You understood how they would be manipulated by my colleagues here on the GOP side of the aisle and by President Trump. You understood that, did you not?
Congressman, what I understood is the regulations that govern my conduct as special counsel.
And those regulations
required me to write a confidential report for the Attorney General,
which you knew would not be confidential.
My decision, and that is what I did, Congressman. I followed the rules.
You knew it would not be confidential.
I followed them.
You knew it would not be confidential, didn't you?
Sir, the regulations required me to write a confidential report explaining my decision to the Attorney General,
which you knew would be released.
It was up to the Attorney General to determine
you understood it would be released. Did you not?
Would be released consistent with DOJ policy.
You understood it would be released. You understood it would be released.
I understood from the Attorney General's public comments that he would make as much of my report public as he could, consistent with legal requirements in DOJ policy.
And you also understand DOJ policy that you are to take care not to prejudice the interests of the subject of an investigation, right?
That is generally one of the interests that DOJ policy requires that prosecutors respect.
And it was your obligation to follow that policy in this report, was it not?
It was also my obligation to write a confidential report for the Attorney General explaining completely my decision.
What you did write was deeply prejudicial to the interests of the president. You say it wasn't political, and yet you must have understood.
Okay, so he said the quiet part out loud.
Well, and yet you must have understood. You must have understood the impact of your words. You must have understood the impact of your decision to go beyond the specifics of a particular document, to go to the very general, to your own personal, prejudicial, subjective opinion of the president, one you knew would be amplified by his political opponent, one you knew that would influence a political campaign. You had to understand that. And you did it anyway. And you did it anyway.
Go, I can't say what I want to say about Adam Schiff. You know, he's not good how they treated this gentleman. The rest of the far left that attacked him did the same thing, which was basically badger this guy for 7-8 minutes for doing the right thing. I mean, and again, you can go here. You don't have to believe what her is saying, because here's the transcript. All right. So let me see if we can do a quick find of Corvette. There's one instance of the word Corvette. Okay. Photo 151. Is this also that your materials were in or anyone else's materials? No. In this drawer? No. Nobody else's material. Mr. Her. Okay, all right. So we'll get a little bit closer up in 152 and even closer in 153. President. Okay. And if you look at 153, there's a binder there that says Corvette. President Biden. Oh, yeah. Mr. Her. In a binder. Okay, now I have stuff in there. I remember this. President Biden, I had all materials of things that matter to me personally, like the Corvette, the one I did with Jay Leno. You know, I kept all the material relating to the Corvette. Dad ran a dealership. He was able to give me as a wedding gift for my wife because he could afford the payments. He was the manager. He did it. So wait a minute. Wait. Okay. He couldn't afford a big gift. He could afford the payments, and it was $5,700, and I have all the material from it. I have like the original key ring, the original. Anyway, I got offered $144 for it because it's original. So, but that's not the reason. But I have all the stuff about the Corvette. There's probably photographs in there, my guess, of the Corvette. I'm not positive. So he doesn't remember that. And what's the other one say? Can anybody read this one? Does that say major? Major, it probably is. All right, major. President Biden, yeah. And it so probably happened there. I know, would be stuff would end up being left on the conference table and the other end and things like that. And so I'm sure that I've gone through that top of the desk and said, no, this file and stuff was left on top the desk. I'm not every time, but on occasion, that's what I would do to clear the desk off. And some of this stuff is more personal. I don't have a magnifying glass, but this drawer opens up. The next page, I'm sure that's a lot. Yeah, I'm sure that's a lot of personal stuff like the house. For example, there's so many damn different contractors I've used about, who's going to fix and put the roof on that, the pump house that's outside there, and what's going to happen with the change up. For example, when I bought that property, the house at the top that that where the Secret Service is. What? Wow. Well, that was about 3/4 as long, not maybe 2/3 as long as it is now. And so what happened was when my dad got real sick, I wanted them to sell their house and move in with me, and my mother would never. Even though I did the whole downstairs thing, my mother, when my dad died, moved back to her house by herself, and I convinced her to come live with me. She said, well, riding down the driveway, and she said about how the place there, about how making a little cottage for me, well, it had been a big garage, it had been a barn. Yo, this guy's all over the place. This guy's all over the place. This is not boding well for Biden at all. Now, the reality of it is, like the harsh reality of this is that Biden is not doing well, and that the respectful thing to do would be to have him tap out. That would be the respectful thing, is to have this guy tap out. Because at the end of the day, this is not good. This is not good.
He'd encourage Russia to, quote, do whatever the hell they want.
Not good.
I guess I should clear my mind here a little bit and not say what I'm really thinking. An ally did not pay their dues. He'd encourage Russia to, quote, do whatever the hell they want.
Not good, folks. There's no way to make this good. Absolutely no way to make this good.
I guess I should clear my mind here a little bit and not.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, I know we say this all the time, and people say this a lot, that this upcoming election is the most important election you'll ever vote in. Well, that's not hyperbole this time. This is an actual fact. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been rocking out here on the Urban Conservative for top of the morning. Make sure to get in the comment sections, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll be back here tomorrow for the weekly wrap up. We're going to talk about the Fonnie Willis case updates. We're going to talk about some more Trump stuff and what's going on with this border crisis and everything else that happened this week. So make sure you're back here with us by 9:30 in the morning, 9:30 a.m. right here on the Urban Conservative for my twin brother, Dual Ali. Peace and love, y'all.
Because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.